5, they're all 5, and then finally they go to school and you get some free time for yourself. When you have 4 kids, it's almost like you gotta wait 9 years before that happens, because the oldest kid's gonna be 9, and then the youngest kid will be 5, and then finally they're all in school. So it's almost like you're dedicating 9 years of your life to live in seclusion, and that's kind of what it's like. But the thing is, I'm not saying it in a really negative way, because to tell you the truth, I've always been more of a homebody. I guess I've always been the person that didn't really go out, find too much joy in going out much. I've always been the person who's found more joy in doing simple things. So for me, the transition is not that big of a deal, because even before we had children, me and my wife we would stay in a lot. We would just enjoy our time doing the simplest things, and the only time we really go out is when we're exercising, and most of the time we just enjoy our time at home. So the transition was not that difficult. But for others, it could be very difficult. Alright? And, that's one thing that is definitely something that you got to be aware about, is your, the lessening of your freedom. When you have 2 kids, like I said, it's easy to go out more. So if you want to have a good balance, I guess 2 or 1 kid is pretty easy. Once you go 2, 3 to 4 or more, your freedom starts being stripped away. Okay, and it could be very difficult to deal with. All right. Another thing is, having 4 kids. There's always usually someone crying, screaming, and especially if you have 4 kids, you're gonna go a good amount of years, maybe 4 years straight, of constantly having to get up at night, and it's gonna be hard to get sleep, because there's always someone crying, whining, and it's to the point where you don't really get much sleep. And if you don't get much sleep, it's easy to get grouchy, easy to get stressed, and it becomes very difficult. When you have so many kids and they're crying, there's always one kid crying. Somebody's got to get up, and take care of them, feed them, change the diapers. So that part is one of the most difficult parts, is not getting sleep. Alright, once you get through that part of where they are sleeping throughout the whole night and you're sleeping throughout the whole night, it's a lot easier. But when they start waking you up throughout the night, it's very difficult, especially if you got a full-time job and everything. It's very difficult on the body, it's very difficult on the mind. Anytime you don't get sleep, it's very difficult. Okay, so having 4 kids just prolongs the time that you're gonna have to wake up in the middle of the night. So it's gonna be, having 4 kids is gonna be about 4 years before you finally get sleep throughout the entire night. You have to go 4 years while waking up in the middle of the night. That's how it pretty much is, and that's difficult. All right. As far as the finances are concerned, it doesn't cost too much. A lot of people say kids are expensive, but to me they're not. Alright, to me adults are expensive. Kids are not expensive. Adults are expensive. Adults are the ones that make the big ticket purchases. Adults are the ones that have all the desires for all these gadgets, and adults are the ones who push their kids to go to college. Adults are the ones who basically train their children to become materialistic. So if the adult is expensive, then yes, of course kids will be expensive. But if the adult is wise with his money, then he can teach his children to be wise with his money, so then the children won't be expensive anymore. If you think about it, children don't really need too much. Even if the natural way, if you have a child and you give the child breast milk, there you don't have to pay for formula. Formula is expensive, but if you give the child breast milk, that's free, that's natural. So then you don't have to worry about that. And then the clothes is like people have hand-me-downs all the time. People that, family members that had kids, they give you the old clothes, and then now you got clothes for free. Or you could go to the thrift store, get clothes for very cheap, so clothes don't cost much. All right, the food is taken care of because you have the breast milk, and then next is just diapers, and diapers don't cost that much money. You might talking about, you know, you could buy about 96 diapers for like $14, and each kid might go through maybe like 5 diapers a day. So 5 diapers times 4 kids is about maybe 20 diapers a day. All right, 20 times 7. You do the math. I mean, it ends up being like you might spend like $120 on diaper, or maybe like $100 on diapers every month for 4 kids, which isn't that bad. So if you think about it, kids are not that expensive, but they are expensive in the sense of where they take away your opportunity cost. And what I mean by that is, say you're working and you're making, say, $50,000, and then your wife is working and then she's making $50,000. All right, so you're both working, making $50,000 each, and then you bring home a combined income of $100,000. And then your wife gets pregnant, and then she stays home to take care of the child. Now she's not making $50,000 anymore. She's making nothing, and you're making $50,000. So then your combined income falls down from $100,000 to $50,000. So you've lost $50,000 of opportunity cost, and in addition to the fees of diaper fees and stuff like that, prices, you end up losing more than $50,000 from having that kid. So in a sense, that aspect of having a kid, it is expensive then, in that respect. But that is another reason why I decided, I wanted more than just one kid. Because if you're going to have your wife stay home and lose out and save $50,000 or more in opportunity cost just for one kid, I thought might as well just have 4 kids, and you basically get more out of her time. So now, even no matter if it's 1 kid or 4 kids that she's taking care of, the opportunity cost is still $50,000. It's not like for every kid that you have, you lose out on $50,000 more of opportunity cost. It's not like that. So if you have 1 kid, then you lost opportunity cost of $50,000. If you have 4 kids, same thing. You still lost opportunity cost of $50,000. So that's what I mean. When you put an opportunity cost into play, then yes, kids can be expensive. But then a lot of people, they kind of go around that by hiring nannies and putting their kids in daycare, so then they can still continue to work. But daycare and nannies, they can be expensive. They could cost anywhere from $8 an hour to $10 an hour, $12 an hour to have someone else watch your kid. My thing was, my way of thinking is that if you're gonna have a kid and just let somebody else watch the kid the whole time while you're working, then what's the point of having a kid? That's the way I was thinking about it. Why have a kid, create a kid, and then never spend time with the kid, and you just let a stranger take care of your kid the whole time? To me, it's just pointless. I might as well just not have a kid at all. So that's why, I was strongly for having one parent stay home to be there for the child and to teach the child and just spend time with the child. That's the whole point of the child being there, so you can spend time with them, teach the child. But if you let a stranger in to take care of the child while you're at work, you might as well just don't even have kids. So that's how I always thought about it. And like I said, if you put the opportunity costs into play, then yes, it can be expensive. But say the wife was making not $50,000, but she only made $20,000, then really the opportunity cost fell from $50,000 to $20,000. So if you look at it in a business sense like that, yes, it can